Hey, welcome back. Quick video today on Impala stuff. Tips and tricks for, cooling for really cheap because, like me, I like to be cheap. So, if you got a Impala and you put a 160 thermostat in there and you want the cooling fans to kick on, I'm going to show you how to do that today. So this is going to be on the 94 to 96 Pala Caprice, Roadmaster Fleetwood, all the B-body, D-body stuff. Pop your hood. Of course, we're doing it on the 95 Impala SS with an LT1. This will work on that L99, LT1, both of them. For reference, I do have a 160 thermostat in here. I also have my PCM flash to kick on everything. 185, 195, I think, is when the primary, secondary fans kick on. And this is for dual electric fans. If you got a Caprice with a mechanical fan, I don't know, I've never been in there. I think it's got the dual fans and a mechanical, but we're just going to focus on the electric fans for right now. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over here and open up the fuse block that's underneath. And what you'll see is you have two relays in here. You got primary cool, secondary cool. Primary cool is the passenger side cooling fan, and secondary is going to be the driver side cooling fan. That's your secondary one. And those relays are, of course in mine, they're green, but they're the closest ones to the firewall. Secondary, primary, FYI on them. So for reference, both the relays are in there. I just pulled the cover off. Fans are not kicked on. Have my hood light on. So I do have power to everything. And when I go to turn the key over, everything kicks up. But cooling fans are not on. So the next thing you're going to do is come underneath the hood, and you're going to want to go ahead and pop off your relays. Don't throw them anywhere. Sometimes you can pull them off with hands, whatever. Just get them out of there right now. Gone ahead and set up a multimeter, and I do have it on the DCV volume control, not volume. This is a cheap Harbor Freight one. It's like $3. You buy enough stuff from Harbor Freight, they give it to you free. Had it for a couple years. I had it marked right there for 12 volt plus. We got it attached to a ground over there, and we're going to take this and we're going to touch it to our positive side of the battery, and look, we get 12.4 volts, and when we take it off, it zeroes out. So now you want to start prodding your inside of your relays, and you're going to want to find your positive. So nothing on there. Put it on this one. Nothing on that one. Put it on that one. We got nothing. And then that one, okay, we got 12.4 volts. So that corner one over there gives us our power in to the relay. And I'm guessing it's probably the same thing right here. Yeah. So these two right here on the very end are what our power is for our relay. So that's hot all the time. So the way a relay works is they work in a cross X pattern, and I'll draw this out here in a second. But this is going to be energized, and it will energize this side of the circuit whenever the switch opens up. And the way a relay works is just like this. Relays, they're, a bunch of science mixed with them. On the back side, you're going to have all these numbers and schematics and whatever else. So let's get into what they are. Throw this around, why don't you? So I've drawn it out really quick on a piece of paper. And basically, these numbers correlate to the spots or the pins in the bottom of this relay on where they go. So what we have here is we'll start with our ground. So the 85 in the upper left-hand corner is where it goes to a ground. Now that ground can be the PCM or it could be straight body ground. That comes into this 85 pin on the bottom of this relay. What it does is there's a coil in here, and that's what this little thing icon is right there. It's a coil. When that coil gets energized, what it does is it pushes the relay over to this side, and what that does is it acts like a switch. And when this coil gets energized, it's going to close the switch that way. So from that, you're going to have a low current 12 volt source. You know, that could be hot ignition source, whatever it is. So that's 12 volt plus, sorry for my crude handwriting, to this side. So this is like your switch circuit. And what that does is it moves that coil. Now when it moves that coil, you have another 12 volt source, usually directly to the battery. Boop, goes into this 30, which is over here. And when that energizes, it pushes the switch over just like a switch and closes this gap. And then it allows this circuit to close, which feeds 12 volts right from the battery directly to what you're powering. In this case, it's going to be our fans. So what we can do is in here, we find our positive, which we found over here with our multimeter. So we know this one is going to be positive all the time. So we found that one. So what we need to do is find where the fan goes. And usually the way that these relays work is if you look on the very bottom of them too, let me flip this over, they're directly across from them. So you got the 30 directly across from the 87, and you got the 86 across from the 85. So it's actually kind of a X pattern in there, if you will. So we'll have 12 volt here. We'll have another one right here we need to find. We'll have the one right here we need to find. We'll have one we need to find right here. So we know this is our 12 volt in our harness. So this is pin 30. So this one over here is probably going to be an 86 or an 85. Don't know that one yet. This one over here, we can already just process of elimination, is going to be our 87. So this is going to go 2 fans. So if we look in here, this is our 30. This one right here is going to go directly to our fan. So if we were to jumper this directly across to each other with a jumper wire, our cooling fans would kick on. So let me demonstrate that here really quick. So got this little jumper wire, and we know that this is going to be 12 volts right here. So in theory, we took it to here. This is our secondary. Our secondary fan kicks on, just like that. Same thing should hold true for this side. Other primary, we got a power here, and our primary kicked on, just like that. So what we can do is we can utilize those relays to keep the fans running when the car is running. How they work is, if we go back to our schematic here, the low voltage ground that we're getting in for our on off from right here at our 86 pin, that's actually going to be our PCM telling the fans kick on or kick off, because it does a ground. PCM sends ground signal, so it doesn't burn up the PCM. So it's a low voltage ground to that circuit. And then it grounds out, which in terms trips out the whole relay, kicking it on. So now we got to figure out our other 2 prongs and which one's the ground and which one is actually from the PCM. So now take your multimeter, change it to the ohm setting, which looks like a little horseshoe, and when you click it down here, it just moves a decimal point to wherever. And the way this works is that's hooked to the ground right now, and if we touch it here to the ground, it zeroes out. So basically it's saying that the whole circuit is complete. So this is how you go through and check your grounds out. So we know this is our 30. We know this is where the fans are going to be, the way that the relays are set up. So this one or this one is going to be our 86 or 85. So if we go to touch this one, the multimeter, get a better one on there, it's not fully grounding out. But if we go to touch the other one here, we got nothing. So we know that when we go to this one, this is right here. This goes to the body of our car because we're connecting. So that is a ground, and then this one right here is a ground. So we know this one right here is going to go right directly to our PCM on both sides. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this jumper wire and we're going to want to put it in this one right here. And we're going to want to put it into that one right there, like so. Then we're going to go ahead and take our relays and put those in kind of forcefully, but they go in there like so. Now what happens is when our fan kicks on our primary, it's going to send the ground signal to our other secondary relay, and it's going to kick on our secondary fan. Same thing's going to happen if I were to go in right now and start it up, which, let's go start it up. Turn the air conditioner on. AC on. We got both our cooling fans running. Now the beauty of it is, if you forget, you go to shut it off, it's going to kick both of them off. You go to shut the car off. Oh, cooling fans are off, but they're both running. Simple as that. I will say that your secondary fan, I don't think was meant to run nonstop, because I've already had to replace a couple of them over the times that I've had Impalas and Caprices. Every single one, it seems like. And when they start, that one's not doing it. Well, yeah, anyway, they start squeaking. That's when you know you have fan motor kicking out. To each his own. They're cheap. Rock Auto, I think they're a universal one. You can get, I don't know, a bunch of them. I might actually have one on the shelf. But anyway, little jumper wire. It's fail safe. You're connecting grounds to grounds. You don't take any risk of shorting out anything. And that little jumper wire, you can tuck it right in there. There's plenty of room between the relays. Put your cap back on, and you know, no one's going to see it because it's a little wire. That'll help you from flashing the computer if you don't want to flash it. That'll help it run cool. If you get into some super high performance, wanting tuning tables and all that stuff, I'm sure your fuel economy and fuel tables and whatever are all screwed up. But honestly, if you're looking for something cheap, easy, this is a quick way to make sure both cooling fans kick on and you're constantly cooling off the system. And a little bonus, you could even take this wire, jumper to that other one, and jumper it even further. Run a secondary wire out to here inside your cab, ground it out somewhere in there, and put it on a switch. That way, if something happens, you just want the fans on, you can just click them on, and you can kick your fans on using the stock system. So, and if you forget to shut them off, it's still ignition controlled. May or may not have had to do that. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Quick, sweet, easy jumper and a fan. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you later.